previously on Talk That Talk. All
Make
right,
Drew great again.
my brain was already moving, but go ahead, Maya.
So, okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I guess, just a little bit, but walk with me, right? So, drill is important, yes. Okay, sure, but why? Why is it important? So, yes, I come, y'all come, we come from a different time, back and back and back. But I think like right now, why is it important, and how do you display that to the kids of today? Like we can all agree that we need to start focusing on the drill, but how are we going to do that? How are you going to get your students to implement or become one with that same vision? Like aside from just saying, yeah, it's just something that we know that we're supposed to do. We know that it's something that is a part of the culture. Okay. So we say that, but they don't really care about that. So it's like, how do you reinstate? How do you re-inspire the appreciation and need for proper drilling? Like I think that is the question, or how we need to transition into the question, because those are the steps of action that are going to get us to what the next thing is. Like, yeah, we can say, okay, sure, we need to figure out a new way to present the drill. But the people that's doing it, if they just doing step to step, or I'm just like, I'm not really feeling, or I don't really care. It doesn't matter. You can have the greatest show, but without the power, without the vision, without the sense of pride doing it, nobody gives a damn. And it's
But
not
the,
going
the
to
problem is, Maya, is that your statement implies that the two are separate. I think
what
that's
do you
what
mean?
a couple people, the statement you just made implies that the two are separate from one another. I think a lot of people are saying they shouldn't be. I
What
think
we
Gary
should.
said it. Yeah, Gary said it best. When designing a show, do it in a way where everything is incorporated into one another. I know I want to play Never Too Much by Luther Vandross. So my impact moment will be never too much, never too much. And you know the crowd is going to sing there. So do something visually, boom, 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 like to match that, like incorporate the drill into the design of the music. That's first. And then the second part of that is at the end of the day, it goes back to what Sean was saying, and that's a lack of history. Because at the end of the day, the only reason why bands are even at the football game is to support the football team. But it always becomes about the band, which is a great thing. You know, I'm a musician. I love what I do as a musician. At the football game, it ain't about me. And I think so many bands lose that aspect. The reason why marching bands exist is as spirit teams or pep squads to the football team. The same thing that the cheerleaders are, that's what marching bands are. But we don't know that because only to us, that may either be boring or whatever, like you said. But a lot of it's just being ignorant to our own history and why we even exist in the first place. And Crystal said this like a month ago. Marching bands are expensive. When people start to lose sight of the importance of what we do, it's easy to say I'm cutting that $1 million or whatever your band's budget is out of our school budget. I think they can find a lot of good things to do with some of these bands' budget. So I think this is also a conversation about survival, right? Like we are only in existence at the discretion of the institutions that we exist at. And so, yeah, we at the end of the day, we need to make what we do important. And yeah, we may not inspire kids to love drill again, but at the end of the day, we're there to do a job. And that job is to support the football team. And if when we stop doing that, we stop existing. Or we start doing those summer bands that Mario was talking about. They have 600 people in them because we have nowhere to play. So I think it's two parts to the argument, but I'm not trying to invalidate what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't know if people always know all the information that goes into being a college mandarin.
I mean, I'm right there with you. That's why I said I'm playing devil's advocate, just to add a little spice to the conversation. I mean, I feel you. I agree.
New one. All right. I have a thought though. So here's my thought, and this is just kind of something that just popped in my head. So let's think about high school bands for a second. High school bands, when they have Battle of the Bands, do they have stand Battle of the Bands or do they have field Battle of the Bands?
They do both now.
It
I'm about to
depends
say
on the
I've seen
region.
both.
It's a
Yeah.
both. It's
Yep,
both now.
it's
See,
both.
that's how much I'll be
It's
like.
definitely both.
No, they do. If they're on the field, hopefully they're doing a competition, which is different from a battle of the bands. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
That's different.
that was my point though. Like most of the time when I was at the high school level, I distinctly remember when they do Battle of the Bands, which are the competition versions, typically they are doing the competitions via the field show. Now, if they just doing the Battle of the Bands, because like even here in Dallas, they'll have the stand joint, but it's not a competition. It's just people going back and forth. But when they giving out trophy daddies, that's when they're actually doing the field show. So then the question becomes, if that's the case, why is it that once they get to the university, it's not as important? Because obviously it's important enough to do these competitions via the field, which means that somewhere in there, that high school director cares, or those students even care about doing that field show. So why does it change at the university level?
Well, that seems like a pretty straightforward answer for me. It's because the focus is different. Competing versus entertaining in a halftime is very different. Like your goal is to literally get people out this seats to have a good time and enjoy themselves while doing it in a way that's also educating them about your craft. So I mean that's totally different than going to some of these. I've actually adjudicated high school competitions that there was no one at but the bands. No one was there but the bands. Like so, like I mean, yeah, I mean they're doing. It's like I don't know. I just feel like we like the way it sounds is almost like you got to be the 2003 Spurs or like the Boston Celtics from the 60s and shit. And like the only way you win is with old school defense. Nobody thought the Steph Curry era would work. This is new. These kids want to play. So we have to find a way to like introduce both of these ideas to make something new. If you don't, you're losing kids. That's what's going to happen. And it's showing itself. Or you keep forcing down their throat the way you want to do it. Yeah, you can do that if you want, but let's see how successful that's going to be. If you don't find a way to incorporate both aspects of what kids are interested in versus what you want to teach, you're going to lose them. There's more ways it's going to catch. Nobody ever thought you would win a whole damn championship shooting threes the whole time.
Hey, but I can tell you this though. With the influence of summer bands, if summer bands went back to doing drills, I think you would see a difference.
There we go. Now you're talking about
something. That was my point at the end of last show, right?
You did.
We have all these, right? We all these
that.
influential groups, all these influential band directors, these mass bands. If we all can just come to a consensus, this is what's important to band culture. Not do it the same way, but just say, hey, this is what we know our kids need to know. Like how many kids, I'm gonna give you a prime example, y'all, and this will all touch home for us. How many kids do you know now can write in cursive? When we were in school, they used to make us sit there for hours and learn how to march in cursive or write in cursive. These kids don't know how to write in cursive. It is a lost art form. Calligraphy, all these things. Things die when they aren't used. So I'm afraid that we're going to lose a part of band culture. It's not going to happen. It might not even happen in my lifetime. Why? Because there are some groups that really focus on drill. I don't know if that'll happen in our lifetime, but my thing is, I'm not talking about them groups. I'm talking about black people. We can sit up here, we can compare ourselves to every group in the world. The fact of the matter is, I want to save our culture. What's important to us. And I think that so often not, it's easy to just capitulate to people to make them happy. But that's why history exists. It's so you don't, like Sean said, you don't make the same mistakes over. History can be his story if you allow ignorant people that don't know what they're talking about to dictate what we do in our culture. First thing I said, people that don't even have any, like what they call Prof. Jones, swag hours. They don't got no swag hours.
No swag
They're gonna
hours.
sit up there, right? But gonna sit up there and tell you how to do what you do. Like it bothers me. Yes, we need to meet these kids where they are. Mario, you ain't wrong about that.
Right.
Mario, you're not wrong about that. But as an educator, the other side of me says, while meeting them where they are, I also need to teach them something, even if sometimes they don't want to learn it, because it's important. And it's going to make them productive people in society. And it's going to make them people that care about Black history and things that are going to make Black culture better. Sometimes you get like I didn't like taking medicine like Tussin growing up. That stuff tastes terrible, but I knew it would make me feel better. And so I at the end of the day, yes, Mario, your argument is absolutely valid. But we can't always just capitulate because they say, "Oh, this is what makes me happy." Okay, that makes you happy. Then let's also look at this, which is also going to make you better. And that's the part I never hear. How are we going to make them better?